Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a massive problem in AI. How do you stop a brilliantly powerful language model from just making stuff up? We're going to break down the key technique that turns a creative but unreliable AI into a trustworthy assistant you can actually count on.
So let's dive right in with a question that gets to the heart of the issue with large language models, or LLMs. You've probably experienced this, right? You ask it a question, and it gives you this answer that sounds incredibly smart and convincing, but it's just plain wrong. So what is going on there?
To really get the solution, you've got to understand the problem first. Think of these LLMs as flawed geniuses. They can do some absolutely incredible things, but they also have these fundamental limitations that can make them a real liability for any serious work. Right out of the box, LLMs have two major issues. First, there's the knowledge cutoff problem. Basically, their knowledge is frozen in time. If a model was trained in 2023, it knows absolutely nothing about what happened in 2024. But the second problem, this is the really dangerous one, the hallucination problem. When an LLM doesn't know something, it usually doesn't say, "I don't know." Nope, it just makes up an answer that sounds plausible.
And this right here is a perfect example of how bad that can be. This response about a bank's loan policy sounds so official, so confident, but it's a complete fabrication, a hallucination. The model has zero access to the bank's actual private policies, so it just invented one. You can just imagine, in a real business, an error like that could be a total disaster. So here's the bottom line. These limitations make standard LLMs a really risky bet for businesses. I mean, any company that depends on information being accurate, up-to-date, and verifiable, we're talking legal, finance, customer support, they simply can't afford to have their AI just winging it.
So how in the world do we fix this? Well, the solution is actually incredibly elegant, and it fundamentally changes how we use these models. Instead of trying to somehow fix the AI's internal memory, we give it an external one. We teach it how to look things up.
You know, the best way to think about this is with a simple analogy. A standard LLM is like a student taking a closed book exam. It can only rely on what it's managed to memorize. The solution? We turn it into an open book exam. We allow the AI to consult an approved set of documents before it has to answer.
And this whole open book approach, it has a name, Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. The term was first coined by some smart researchers at Meta AI back in 2020, and it's a beautifully simple, powerful idea. Before the language model generates a single word, a retrieval system goes and fetches relevant facts from your documents. This completely changes the AI's job. It's no longer about knowing the answer, it's about synthesizing an answer from the information it was just handed.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how does this lookup process actually work in practice? Well, it's a two-phase process that essentially turns your pile of documents into a perfectly organized, searchable library for the AI. The RAG pipeline really happens in two main stages. First, there's an offline phase called ingestion. This is the prep work. You feed all your documents, your PDFs, your web pages, your company manuals into the system. It breaks them all down and creates a searchable index, kind of like an old-school library's card catalog, but way faster. Then you have the second phase, the online part, which kicks in the moment you ask a question. And that online phase is a really clean four-step process. First, you ask your question. Second, the system instantly searches its index to retrieve the most relevant documents. Third, and this is the magic part, it takes those documents and stuffs them into your original question, creating a brand new, context-rich prompt. And finally, that enhanced prompt is sent to the LLM, which then generates an answer that is grounded in the facts it was just given.
Now, there's a common point of confusion I want to clear up. How does RAG compare to that other popular technique we all hear about, fine-tuning? They actually solve very different problems, and it's absolutely crucial to know which one to use and when.
This table really breaks it down nicely. You use RAG when you need factual Q&A and when you need your data to be fresh. You just add new documents to its knowledge base, and it's good to go. You use fine-tuning when you want to change the AI's style or tone. But most importantly, RAG seriously lowers the risk of hallucination, and it gives you transparency because it can actually cite the exact sources it used to come up with an answer.
So here's the simplest way to remember it, and this is a huge takeaway. RAG is for teaching an AI what to know. Think of it like giving the AI a library. Fine-tuning is for teaching it how to talk. That's like giving it a personality coach. Sure, you can even use them together, but for factual accuracy, RAG is almost always the right answer.
So what does this all mean for you?
Let's talk about the real-world impact and the amazing benefits you get when you give an AI the ability to look things up.
The benefits are just so powerful. First, your information is always current because you can update the knowledge base anytime you want without any expensive retraining. Second, hallucinations are drastically reduced because answers are literally grounded in real documents. And for the first time, you can have the AI cite its sources, which builds trust and lets people actually go and verify the information for themselves.
And hey, this isn't just theory. RAG is already out there transforming industries. Think about customer support bots that can accurately answer questions about company policy because they're reading the latest internal documents. Or systems that let employees instantly search through massive company wikis. Or even tools that let lawyers query thousands of pages of legal text and get precise, verifiable answers. It's happening right now.
By grounding a powerful LLM in verifiable facts, RAG transforms it from this creative but unreliable tool into a knowledgeable, trustworthy assistant. This is a fundamental shift. We're no longer just hoping the AI knows the right answer. We're ensuring it can find it. And that leaves us with one last, really exciting question. Now that our AI has a library card, what will we ask it to learn next?